everyone, this is CricketSong with Lunar Wisdom, and you're watching another Tarot Spreads video. In this video, we're going to be doing a spread called The Decision. You can find this spread, The Decision, in this book, Illustrated Tarot Spreads by Filner and Schreiner. And this particular spread is on page 53, and it is called The Decision. So this is what we're looking at for the layout, for the spread layout. Let me just shift the camera up a little bit. There we go. It is 7 cards. And so, card number 1, which is this card right here, this is my current situation. Card number 2, this is the reason the situation has come about. Card number 3, this can happen if I change something. It can get better or worse. Card number 4, this can happen if I change nothing and leave things as they are. Again, better or worse. Card number 5, these are my aids or warnings concerning actions or attitudes on my part. Card number 6, this is my task, so it can be obstacles that I have to overcome. And the last card, card number 7, this card here, is the Tarot's advice on which path I should follow. So again, card number 1, this is my current situation. Card number 2, this is what led to this situation. This is the reason. Card number 3, this is what will happen if I change something, meaning it could get better or worse. Card number 4, this is what will happen if I change nothing. Again, better or worse. Card number 6, this is my task. This is what I will need to do. Obstacles. Card number 5, this is the aids or warnings concerning my actions, and then this is my task. And then card number 7, this is the Tarot's advice on what to do about it. Okay, first thing I look at is what is represented here. So we have 2 major arcana, we have 2 cups, we have 1 pentacle, 1 wand, and 1 sword. So, and we even have a court card. So we have representation of everything that is available in the tarot. A major arcana, and out of the minor arcanas, we have at least one of each suit, and we have 1 court card. So for me, this is a representation of everything the tarot has to offer. So it looks to me, and it's a pretty good balance. We have 2 major arcana cards, so I'm going to take note of them when I go through the reading. And the final outcome is a court card, so that is a little odd to me. But as we go through the reading, we'll see how that fits into everything. So the current situation we see is the 10 of Cups reversed. So this would tell me all the cups are empty. When I think of cups, I think of emotions. I think of the non-physical things that affect me, my emotions, my dreams, my hopes, things that I am, connected to through the element of water. So the 10 represents to me completion, fulfillment of all these, the emotions and my dreams. If it was right, if it was upright, but this is reversed. So this suggests to me that there is a lack of and a complete absence of emotional satisfaction or fulfillment. My dreams are not realized. They're not manifested. I'm like empty. All my cups are empty. I have nothing. So that would be my current situation. I feel very emotionally drained. I feel unfulfilled. I don't even know where to go from here. Perhaps I have relationships, but they're unfulfilling. That would be the current situation. So card number 2, how did I get here? So I'm trying to, look at my current situation and say, okay, if I'm unaware, how is it that I got here? And when I see the 4 of Wands, generally that talks to me about partnerships. It talks to me about energy moving in the same direction. It talks to me about being aligned with things that are fulfilling, people who are on the same path, people who are working towards the same goal. If I'm talking about relationships, they're people I feel kinship with. Maybe we have common interests. If I'm in a romantic relationship, me and my partner would have been on the same page. We're working to the same things. That's if it's upright. Because I see it reversed, it tells me that there is a lack of. So even if I had that partnership, that working partnership, going to the same goal, building momentum together, for some reason that's not here anymore. So I feel very depleted and emotionally unsatisfied because partnerships that I had have been undone, or there were no partnerships there to begin with. There's a lack of. Maybe the people in my life and the situations I've been fighting against, and I thought we were going to the same page, but there's this realization that we were truly not partners, and that has brought me to where I am. I might pull a clarifying card if this doesn't make sense to me. If I'm doing this reading for myself or for someone else and it just doesn't jive, I'd pull a clarifying card to get more understanding of what that is. But let's say we understand. Okay, so then the third card is this can happen if I change something. So the Hermit, if I change things, if I feel very unfulfilled right now and I change something, then we will see the Hermit. So the Hermit is a major arcana card. So this would tell me, just looking at changing things and not changing things, right here, I would suggest that the cards are saying you want to change things, because we see a major arcana card here. If you don't change things, we just see a suit, okay? So if I change things, the Hermit represents the wise one, the one who has the illumination, the lantern, lighted by the star, which talks to me about dreams, desires, and enlightenment. The Hermit can lead the way to personal enlightenment. He calls to meditation. He calls us to introspection and contemplation. He calls us to find the inner spark within us and allow that to lead the way to where we need to go, or where we want to go in order to find fulfillment. So this is, if I change whatever is happening right now, then I will be on the path of the Hermit. Spiritual, emotional advancement and enlightenment, transformation, leading to something greater, leading to my desire, or leading to the star. If I don't change anything, if I leave it all as it is, I will see the 5 of Pentacles. And this talks to me about lack of stability. It talks to me about trying to build something, but then finding that really I'm building nothing. This is looking for charity. This is searching for stability. This is having nothing and going towards something, but something that's more physical instead of emotional. And because we're dealing with the 10 of Cups reversed, we're dealing with an emotional situation. This would suggest trying to fill that hole with physical possessions, trying to find stability in the physical, even though we're dealing with an emotional situation. So if I try to not change anything, then this suggests that there's going to be a sort of spending too much money on things that aren't going to happen and make us happy. Losing our shirts, spending our bank account, going on shopping sprees that we think might help us and make us feel better, but really will leave us with no money and still this void. That's how I would interpret the 5 of Pentacles. So then this is my task. which brings us to the Four of Cups. So this can be an obstacle or something that I have to overcome. And when I see the Four of Cups, this suggests, again, an emotional or a spiritual task, which makes sense because the problem is an emotional problem. So this would suggest that I need to take time to evaluate what I have in my life, the 3 cups that I have, to find out what it is that's missing and that is being offered to me in my current situation. So if I'm talking about a lack of emotional fulfillment, if I'm talking about a lack of connection, then look at all my relationships, look at all the things that I do feel connected to, and then see which one is offering me what I want. You know, if I'm friends with people, or if I feel like I have, quote, friendships, do I really have friendships? And in these friendships, what is the friendship that I value the most? What is the friendship I feel like I'm gaining the most from? And then focusing on that relationship or that friendship. That's what this suggests. Then I keep skipping. I go from 4 to 6, but I'm supposed to go from 4 to 5. The top card, the 5th card, is these are my aids or warnings concerning actions or attitudes on my part. So I keep reading from this to this, but you're supposed to read from this to this. These are the warnings. The Fool is the warning. So the Fool is, again, a major arcana card, so I want to take note. The Fool is super eager to jump into things. They just react. They don't meditate. They don't contemplate. They just emotionally react. So this is a warning for me. I need to make sure that I don't just, I've realized, okay, I am unfulfilled. Okay, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to emotionally react to everything. The Fool is a warning of that this would be unhelpful. This is something that you don't want to, if you do this, I feel like it's going to create more complications, more lacking. It might lead to this. So you want to just take time to really consider what it is you want before you make an action. That's how I would read that. So then the Tarot's advice on which paths to follow is the King of Swords. And this is really interesting to me because when I read court cards, they represent specific energies or personalities of a person. So because we're talking about an emotional situation, the current situation is this complete feeling of being, having a lack of fulfillment, emotional, spiritual fulfillment. And the Tarot's advice on which path to follow is the King of Swords. This would represent to me either the querent should adopt this or should shed this. So it's going to be important for the querent to be very self-aware and to really, if it's a reading for me, then I would really have to do some self-reflection, meditate like the Hermit says, and really look at if there are qualities in the King of Swords that I might be manifesting, which is why I am not having partnerships, why I'm not feeling very fulfilled, because instead of really embracing and receiving people, I'm just attacking them. Because the King of Swords is someone who is very emotionally unavailable, is abusive either to themselves or to others, is very defensive and aggressive because they want to hurt other people before other people hurt them. And they have a lot of shit to work through. So this would suggest that this needs to be addressed. Now, if this isn't a representation of the querent themselves, this could be someone in the querent's life that they're very emotionally dependent upon, and maybe allowing this person to dictate their life for them, leaving the querent very drained, which is why we see the Ten of Cups reversed to begin with. So the querent really should do, whether it's yourself or someone you're reading for, do some serious personal introspective work, shadow work, to see if they can identify who this person might be. And this person would need to be addressed in this querent's life before they can start healing and moving forward towards more emotional fulfillment. And that's how I would read this. So what I would like to do now is compare it with the Green Witch Tarot to see if I would read it in any other way if faced with a different deck. This deck is still Rider-Waite based. So this is still going to show us, you know, familiar symbolism, but in a different images. And sometimes these different images bring us a little bit of a different interpretation. So the biggest differences I see is in the Four of Chalices, the Green Man, the Holly King. Those are the ones I see differently. So this one here, which was in my task, I would read the Four of Chalices here as a concern about personal safety, whether that's emotional personal safety, whether that's physical personal safety, but there's a fear in not feeling as if I'm as secure as I could be emotionally, which is very similar to this, but I would read it that way. It's a little different, and it gives a little different spin here. But it makes a little more sense to me when we see the King of Athames here. So the task here for the querent would be to find some emotional safety, to find a place or in my head or in my heart where I feel secure, looking for that self-confidence in so that I'm able to handle any conflicts that might come my way. The Green Man is very much the Fool. It's the beginning, but here in the Green Witch Tarot, it really talks to me about getting in touch with nature, getting in touch with the natural vibration of my environment as well as myself and the relationship between me and the environment. That would be my aids or warnings or concerns, making sure I still am in sync and in alignment and in resonance with all the energies that surround me in my environment as well as within myself, sort of getting back to who I really am. And that's going to be a major thing because it's a major arcana card. Now the Hermit is represented by the Holly King here, and this does talk about, I would read this a little differently than the Hermit, but it still has the basic meaning of touching upon wisdom that is carried through the seasons. Again, because this is the Green Witch Tarot, we're talking about Holly King, winter time, solstice season, the time of introspection, and it really works well with the Green Man. So I would, and it's still the Hermit, talking about introspection, meditation, looking for enlightenment from within. We see this in the time of winter solstice. So that's the only way in the shifts that I would read these two, this in regards to this deck. So if you decide to do the decision spread for yourself or for someone else, please share with me whether it worked for you, you liked it, or what you didn't like about it. And if you do a recording of a reading that you do, please share it with me. I'd love to watch it. Until next time, I love you. Blessed be.